is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
Right now at 6, as cases of COVID-19 continue to rise in Florida, the White House laid out new guidelines meant to stop the spread.
We will rally together as one nation, and we will defeat the virus.
We are breaking down what those guidelines are, plus what Orange County leaders and others are revealing about other cases. In fact, 2 new cases of coronavirus here in Orange County. In the last few hours, President Trump's administration recommended people avoid bars and restaurants and social gatherings in groups of 10 or more people. Good evening, I'm Greg Warman.
I'm Vanessa Eccles. They also recommended older people and those with underlying health conditions stay home and away from other people. Today, the Florida Department of Health said there are now 149 people in the state who have tested positive for the coronavirus. Officials say Lake County now has its first confirmed case of COVID-19. And the stock market took a big hit today, with the Dow Jones dropping nearly 13%, which is the worst drop in 3 decades. Channel 9's Lauren Seabrook begins our live in-depth coverage in Orange County, where she got an update from county officials. Lauren, there is a lot to break down here.
And Vanessa, I want to start with the latest numbers. We currently know that the recorded amount of COVID-19 cases for Orange County stands at 4. Sadly, though, we are learning that 2 of those people have actually died from this. We had been telling you last week already about one woman who died out in California, but we now know another woman died in Orlando over the weekend from the coronavirus. She was a 79-year-old woman with underlying health issues. The other 2 people are alive and under quarantine in their homes. They are not at the hospital. The county health department says it also tested their family members for the virus. Now, because we've heard of other positive cases in the county, I asked the county health officer if it's possible we have positive cases at local hospitals they don't know about yet. He said, yes, that is possible because there is a lag time in getting that word to the health department. He confirmed to me there are some suspected cases like that right now, but he would not say how many. Now, Mayor Jerry Deming spoke about the CDC's recommendations to have no group gatherings of 10 or more people, which of course makes it very complicated for restaurants and bars at this point. But even though many other states and cities have called for all restaurants and bars to close, our local and state leaders have not made that decision here yet. I pressed the mayor on it, though, because people were outraged last night when they saw how jam-packed Disney's Magic Kingdom was, and our bars will be no different for St. Patrick's Day tomorrow unless they shut down. Why are you not ready to make that call yet when other states and cities have?
Again, here locally, we will have conversations with the other local governments so that we have a consistent response to it. Just prior to this meeting, we heard the recommendations by the president and the federal government, and we'll certainly digest that. But more than likely, after we have the opportunity to deliberate over this, you're going to see some directive, and we will do that as quickly as we can.
And the sheriff also spoke here today. He said he is going to be suspending all evictions for the time being. And we also learned that at the courthouse, starting tomorrow, they will be going to essential functions only. That does include initial appearances. As soon as we get any information on what decision could be made on restaurants and bars, as the mayor told me, he will make that decision before the celebrations start tomorrow. We will let you know. Reporting live in Orange County, Lauren Seabrook, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Now, there are 2 big takeaways today from the governor's update on coronavirus in the last hour. Governor DeSantis says $50 million in bridge loans will be offered to small businesses to keep them afloat during this time. And as drive-through testing gets underway, the governor says he's offered up Florida to start with that.
We're seeking their involvement here in Florida. We think we'd be a good state to have some of those test centers. So we've already gotten approval. I spoke with the owner of the Dolphins today, Steve Ross. They're going to let us use the parking lot at the Dolphins Stadium. The Jacksonville Jaguars will let us use that stadium, and the Orange County the parking lot at that stadium, and the Orange County Convention Center will let us use that parking lot.
No word yet on when that could happen. The governor saying that most people in the state with the virus were travelers. Do not call 911 for the coronavirus test.
That is the plea from Orlando's new fire chief today as he showed reporters the tools that they'll be using to keep firefighters safe during this COVID-19 outbreak. The department has the device that pumps in a Peroxide mist to decontaminated ambulances used to transport a patient that may have COVID-19. Firefighters also have access to kits that include a disposable suit, gloves, mask, and goggles. It just takes an extra minute or two to put on this extra protection.
They're all trained to deal with COVID calls. Again, this is no different than when we were dealing with Ebola or any other contagious, disease or virus that's out there.
911 operators will ask callers if they have flu-like symptoms, respiratory issues, or if they might have been exposed to the virus. If the answer is yes, that extra protection goes on. Disney is planning to close its owned and operated stores at Disney Springs and its hotels. The company's stores at Disney Springs are set to close tomorrow. It'll be up to the owners of the private businesses to decide whether to stay open or not. Also, Disney's owned and operated hotels will close Friday at 5 p.m. All 4 of the parks at Disney World closed last night. SeaWorld, Legoland, and Universal Studios have also closed their parks as well. Tonight at midnight, Universal is closing City Walk. The company is also closing all hotels at Universal Orlando Resort at 5 p.m. Friday. Universal says it anticipates the closures will be through March 31st. Earlier today, Universal postponed the opening of its newest hotel, the Endless Summer Dockside Inn and Suites. It was scheduled to open tomorrow. A new opening date has not been set. Guests who were scheduled to stay there during the closure will now go to the Surfside Inn and Suites.
There are now 6 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Volusia County. The mayor of Daytona Beach is urging young people to stay inside this spring break, but many are still heading to the beach. Channel 9's Volusia County reporter Mike Springer is live now at Daytona Beach. Mike, while the beaches are open now, the county says that could change.
That's right. In fact, in just the last half hour, the Volusia County Watermen's Association put out a statement. That's the union that represents lifeguards and the police officers here on the beach, saying that they want to see the county shut down the beach here. But county officials say the situation right now remains dynamic and fluid. On a normal Monday during spring break, Daytona Beach would be almost shoulder to shoulder with spring breakers and vehicles along its sandy shores. But today the crowd is much more sparse. It comes as cities like Miami and Fort Lauderdale announced they were closing their beaches amidst the coronavirus outbreak.
It's pretty crazy. I didn't know I'd see something like this in my lifetime, but it's really crazy and it's changing a lot.
There are 6 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Volusia County. The latest was announced today as an 89-year-old female who had close contact with someone who had the virus. The Department of Health says at this point there is no evidence of community spread. That means someone is infected without any explanation of how they got sick. Still, people tell us they are taking precautions.
I'm just washing my hands a lot and, being just aware of other people around me and trying not to touch things I don't need to touch. I don't know. I think it's something to take seriously.
As people do what they can to potentially minimize the spread of the virus. One of those 6 confirmed cases here in Volusia County was a congregation member at a church in the land. The church has recently said that congregation member has tested negative for the virus and is now out of isolation. Reporting live in Volusia County, Mike Springer, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And today, city leaders in Daytona Beach and Ormond Beach said they will not disconnect people's utility services if they have not paid because of the state emergency from the coronavirus. Edgewater, Holly Hill, and Port Orange city leaders have been talking about similar measures this afternoon. Deltona will also not disconnect services, but customers will be charged late fees.
Lake County schools are on spring break this week, but the district is offering free meals for students next week. These are the schools where students can go. You see them on your screen right now. Meals will be available between 10:30 in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday, in the car loop of each of these schools. The district says students must be there in person to get the meals. You can find out more about where the school districts across Central Florida are offering free student lunches in the coronavirus section of our website, WFTV.com. Now in Seminole County, the focus of a webinar this afternoon was on assisted living facilities.
And how to stop the spread of the coronavirus from hitting our most vulnerable population. Channel 9 Seminole County reporter Jeff Lefkulich is live outside Fire Station 35. And Jeff, there is some confusion when it comes to first responders entering these facilities.
And Greg, county officials said there have been instances where first responders like firefighters and paramedics have been put through the screening process when they are called out to a nursing home or long-term care facility. And Seminole County officials warned against that, saying that lives could be on the line.
I'm going to to talk with you about the COVID-19 outbreak.
What was supposed to be a face-to-face workshop for assisted living facility and nursing home operators turned into a small roundtable webinar in Seminole County.
To make sure that they are being provided the proper guidance and direction from our health department, from our office, and so that they're aware of how they can reach out and get resources.
Resources such as sanitizer, masks, and other medical supplies, since few can actually enter one of these facilities. Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday announced a moratorium on visitors. Those who still can't respond are first responders, firefighters, paramedics, and law enforcement. But during the webinar, county officials announced that some have been denied entry.
I've heard from several instances out there in our community that there are some front desk staff that forced first responders responding to the facility to go through the screening process.
Stephen Lerner, the senior planner of the Seminole County Emergency Management Office, warned facility administrators to make sure front desk employees and staff know that first responders should not be denied access when crucial seconds count.
Let me be very clear that we will not accept that, and we will come to your facility and forego the screening process if it means to save a life in your facility.
Now, there's a tough screening process to even get into one of those long-term care facilities or nursing facilities. You must answer a questionnaire and fill it out before you can enter. And again, very few people can. Basically, if you can't enter if you have flown anywhere, and there's other restrictions as well. And they're also encouraging residents at those facilities to not leave those facilities. Reporting live in Seminole County, Jeff Left-Coolidge, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And today, Winn-Dixie announced stores will be closing at 9 p.m. until further notice. The company says the earlier closing time will allow stores to restock shelves and do additional cleaning. The self-serve deli bars will also be closed, and pre-packaged deli items will be available instead. Over the weekend, Publix adjusted store closing times to 8 p.m. to allow for restocking and additional cleaning at their stores as well.
Well, now we know you have plenty of questions about the coronavirus pandemic, so we're teaming up again with a panel of experts from Advent Health to help separate fact from fiction. Join us live Wednesday night at 8 o'clock on TV 27, and we'll be on Facebook Live as well. For Coronavirus Pandemic, your questions answered. UCF